just a quick video on what's going on around my pond and what's happening in the future. Well, here we come, just coming out of winter, so I thought I'd have a quick look at the pond, a look at the fish. As you can see, I don't know whether you can see that actually, the sun's on it, but I've got quite a lot of hoovering to do. A good clear out after the winter season is in order. I've got a little bit of algae coming back. Now normally I would treat that with the cloverleaf, but as I'm moving house, I don't think I'm going to bother wasting my money, as this pond will only get filled in anyway. So I will be building another pond, obviously, in another house. I will give you a quick look round the filter system while we're here. We'll just have a quick look at that. This is the new pre-filter. It's in there working away, working a treat as well. I'm well pleased with that. As you can see, I hope it's collecting all the dirt. Doing a cracking job, that is. I'm really pleased with that. And the big thing that I have noticed is how much cleaner and algae free my media is. That's the first tub there. We'll take a look in the second one. I've moved the micro over, so we've now got micro in the second tub, working well. As you can see, I've got micro in there, and in the third and final tub I have the K1. But like I've always said, I do prefer the K1 in the moving bed. It just seems to move that bit better. There was just one thing I wanted to mention, just to let you guys know. If in the moving bed you do get climbing media, which you can do with this K1, it can climb. What I've actually done is get a elastic band and drop it around the filter cage and twist it 2 or 3 times and just leave it on there, and that stops any climbing media. Works quite well actually, but that's how I stop the media climbing. We'll just take a quick look at the fry. Well, a little koi now, coming on nicely. There's still some real small ones, but a lot of them, they're getting a decent size on them now. They're all in there. There's well over 100 in there, but they're getting a decent size now. Some of them is getting some proper colour. There's a big fat one there, I'm not quite sure. He looks a bit like a goldfish, but he's a koi. But he's a big fat old thing. And that's the fry as they are at the moment. I have been trying to hold off from using the cloverleaf, but I'm afraid I'm just getting too much algae into my pre-filter. I'm having to clean it out daily now. I don't know whether you can see it, but it is on the bottom there, all loose. I am getting loads of algae into the pre-filter, so I'm going to have to try to hoover my pond. I've got my pond vac there ready. I'm just going to try to hoover the pond out. There is a lot of glare on the pond, so I'm not quite sure what you guys can see. Plenty of algae around the pump down that end, so I'm going to try to hoover it out, give it a good hoovering out and see how it goes. But as you can see, it's on the lily baskets and that, but I don't want to waste the cloverleaf because it is quite expensive. And as, like I say, I'm going to be moving out of this pond within the next 4 weeks, I don't see a lot of point in wasting a lot of money on it. So I should give it a good hoovering and try to keep it back that way, because as I say, I don't want to waste the cloverleaf, it is expensive. So I'm going to give it a good hoovering out and we'll see how we go. Well, as you can see, that's clouded it up. Can't see so much in there now, pretty cloudy. What I'm going to do at the moment is whip my pump out, just switch it off, whip it out. I've got my pressure washer up here, so I'm going to give my old pump a good clean down. It'll be ready for the move. But I've just thought about it, I've got a lot of algae hanging off these hanging baskets and I don't want to take that with me, so I am going to have to give it a dose of cloverleaf. I was trying to be tight and save the money, but I am going to have to give it a dose of cloverleaf just to get rid of that that's on the baskets. I don't want to take that with me, so I'll get this done, get it topped up again, and I'm going to bang some cloverleaf in there. Well, as you should be able to see there, the pond temperature's picking up a bit. It's up to about 11, so it's not too bad now. It does get a bit cool at night, it drops a couple of degrees, but it comes back to about 11 during the day, so that's not too bad. Anyway, I'm going to switch my pump off and let's give it a clean. Well, as you can see there, it's in a bit of a sorry state, so I've got my pressure washer here. I'll just give it a blast and we'll see how it goes. That looks a bit better already. Now I've just dropped the end off so you can just see how they get bunged up inside. So I've got to clean all that out and get a right good spring clean. I'll whip that out and then put it back together and get it back in the pond. Okay, that's got that done. That's the Blagdon 16,000 litre an hour. All clean and ready to go. I think it's about 6-year-old this at the moment, so it's not doing too bad. It's been running 24/7 for 6 years, so not too bad. That's it, all nice and clean. Now just pop it back in the pond and switch it back on. Well, I'm not really sure whether you can see the pump now. It's down there somewhere. It's really cloudy in there at the minute after stirring all that up, but that's it done. It's had a nice spring clean now, ready for the new pond. Now it's just a matter of, I shall leave it. It's too late in the day now for the cloverleaf. You never want to treat your fish or your pond towards tea time. You always want to do it in the morning when you've got all day, just in case anything untoward does happen. But that's it, I'm done for the day. I'm going to go get a cup of tea. Well, as you can see there, I've started to get 1 or 2 bits and pieces ready for the new pond. There is, as you can see at the back there, a 4-inch bottom drain. I wasn't a big lover in bottom drains, but I've had an idea for that, which I shall explain later. With a bottom drain, I don't see why people dig a pond 4 or 5 foot deep, then put a bottom drain in it and move the water in the bottom of the pond in the winter. What is the point of digging it 4 foot deep if you're going to keep cycling the water down there? But like I say, I have had a bit of an idea about that, which I shall be putting into practice on this new pond, and we'll see how that goes. Well guys, what you see there is hopefully a temporary pond for my fish. They're going to have to be in it for about 2, probably 3 weeks. So a temporary pond, a proper one for fish, was £1,000, and I thought, I'm not paying that. So what I've done is bought a paddling pool. Now a lot of people will say you've got to be careful of the plastics and koi. So what I've done is bought a pond liner, just one of the cheaper ones. So I'm going to drop a pond liner inside of that, and then I shall keep my fish in that, which has cost me about £120–130, whereas like I say, the temporary fish pond was £1,000. So I've actually saved a few bob there, I hope, as long as it all works. But that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to do that, put my fish in until my new pond is built. Okay guys, what I'm doing here is I'm building a filter system for the temporary pond. I've got my spare pump there, which will be attached, or is attached, to that 1.5-inch pipe, which comes around to a Y connection with taps, and then that in turn goes out to my old pressure filters, and then I shall run them to feeds back into the pond from them. But that'll be the filter system, the temporary filter system that I'm putting on my pond. The good thing about it is they've both got UV lights in them as well, and I'd only just put new bulbs in when I took them off, so it's all kitted up, just doing the pipe in. There is one thing when I'm doing these joints, I do actually use a bit of weld on. It's the old solvent seal for the solvent weld connections. I do actually put this corrugated pipe on with them as well, and what you do find is you very rarely get leaks. I shall be putting Jubilee clips on the top once they're welded. It's just another precaution, but you will find you get far less leaks if you do these joints, as this fits on here. If I can pull it off, that fits on there. I shall solvent weld that, put a Jubilee clip on it obviously, solvent weld that, slide it on, and then tighten the Jubilee clip up, and you will find they very rarely leak. It does make a good connection. But that'll be it. That'll be my temporary filter system until the new pond's built. Okay, what I'm doing here is making a right mess. As you can see, I'm just measuring out my cloverleaf, and I've got my 900 grams in there. So what I shall do now is slowly mix it bit by bit, about 3 or 4 goes in a watering can, and add it to the pond. Okay, I've got my cloverleaf, my watering can full of pond water, my stirring stick. So now we'll get it added to the pond. There is a bit of breeze today, so I hope it's not interfering too much. So we're going to start putting this into the watering can. Being a bit messy. Give it a good stir. Good stir around, mix it all up well. You may have seen me doing this before. I did it in a previous video. Adding the cloverleaf to the pond. Okay, let's get it in the pond. I'm sorry if there's a bit of wind, it is interfering a little bit. But here we go. Get it in the pond. As you can see, it does make quite a mess. I've got the air stone on, want plenty of air in the pond. I have got my skimmer on. Well, as you can see, the fish have disappeared. It's a right old mess. Just looks like the wife's emptied the washing up water in there, but that should be the last of any algae. I'm hoping to get it all off the basket so I don't take it to the new pond. But that's it, that's the cloverleaf in. Just keep my eye on it now. Like I say, never treat and leave anything, always stay with it. Then if you get any problems, you're there to sort them out. Well guys, that's it for another video. I would assume the next video will be from the new house. We move in about 3 weeks, I think it is. So it'll be about 3 weeks time, and then it'll all be on the new pond build. Things are warming up here. As you can see there, we've got 12 degrees in the pond now, 12.7, so things are looking up a little bit. Summer's on its way. So all that leaves me to say now is take care, thanks for watching, and happy ponding.